The greatest happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved, loved for ourselves, or rather, loved in spite of ourselves. You have enemies? Good. That means you stood up for something sometime in your life. Music expresses that which cannot be said, and on which it is impossible to be silent. Be like the bird who, pausing in her flight a while on boughs too slight, feels them way beneath her, and yet sings, knowing she hath wings. Life is the flower for which love is the honey. What would be ugly in a garden constitutes beauty in a mountain. Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face. To put everything in balance is good. To put everything in harmony is better. Each man should frame his life so that at some future hour fact and his dreaming meet. He who every morning plans the transactions of the day and follows that plan carries a thread that will guide him through a labyrinth of the most busy life. Love is a portion of the soul itself, and it is of the same nature as the celestial breathing of the atmosphere of paradise. The ox suffers, the cart complains. When grace is joined with wrinkles, it is adorable. There is an unspeakable dawn in happy old age. Peace is the virtue of civilization. War is its crime. There is one spectacle grander than the sea, that is the sky. There is one spectacle grander than the sky, and that is the interior of your soul. One sees qualities at a distance and defects at close range. Short as life is, we make it still shorter by the careless waste of time. Have courage for the great sorrows of life and patience for the small ones, and when you have laboriously accomplished your daily task, go to sleep in peace. Amnesty is as good for those who give it as for those who receive it. It has the admirable quality of bestowing mercy on both sides. It is by suffering that human beings become angels. To give thanks in solitude is enough. Thanksgiving has wings and goes where it must go. Your prayer knows much more about it than you do. A society that admits misery, a humanity that admits war, seems to me an inferior society and a debased humanity. It is a higher society and a more elevated humanity at which I am aiming. A society without kings, a humanity without barriers. There are thoughts which are prayers. There are moments when, whatever the posture of the body, the soul is on its knees. Reaction. A boat which is going against the current but which does not prevent the river from flowing on. A creditor is worse than a slave owner, for the master owns only your person, but a creditor owns your dignity and can command it. Mankind is not a circle with a single centre, but an ellipse with two focal points of which facts are one and ideas are another. It is nothing to die, it is frightful not to live. The human soul has still greater need of the ideal than of the real. It is by the real that we exist, it is by the ideal that we live. Thought is more than a right, it is the very breath of man. Whoever fetters thought attacks man himself. To speak, to write, to publish are things, so far as the right is concerned, absolutely identical. They are the ever-enlarging circles of intelligence in action. They are the sonorous waves of thought. Every diminution of the liberty of the press is followed by a diminution of civilization. Wherever we see the freedom of the press interfered with, there we see the nutrition of the human family interrupted. Religions do a useful thing. They narrow God to the limits of man. Philosophy replies by doing a necessary thing. It elevates man to the plane of God. Close by the rights of man, at the least set beside them, are the rights of the Spirit. To rise from error to truth is rare and beautiful. One is not idle because one is absorbed. There is both visible and invisible labour. To contemplate is to toil, to think is to do. The crossed arms work, the clasped hands act. The eyes upturned to heaven are an act of creation. I am a soul. I know well what I shall render up to the grave is not myself. That which is myself will go elsewhere, earth. Thou art not my abyss. Because one doesn't like the way things are is no reason to be unjust towards God. I love all men who think, even those who think otherwise than myself. The brutalities of progress are called revolutions. When they are over, we realise this, that the human race has been roughly handled, but that it has advanced. To be perfectly happy, it does not suffice to possess happiness. It is necessary to have deserved it. Many great actions are committed in small struggles. People do not lack strength, they lack will. Joy's smile is so much closer to tears than laughter. Change your opinions, keep to your principles, change your leaves, keep intact your roots. Almost all our desires, when examined, contain something too shameful to reveal. When a man understands the art of seeing, he can trace the spirit of an age and the features of a king, even in the knocker on a door. One of the hardest tasks is to extract continually from one's soul an almost inexhaustible ill will. A faith is a necessity to a man. Woe to him who believes in nothing.